Are you sick of swiping and typing? My name is Sarah and I'm here today to tell you about the famous 36 questions. Now, these questions are used as part of an event that I run called Offline Valentine. The questions were actually created by psychologists back in the 90s, and they wanted to see if they could create closeness or a sense of intimacy or connection between two strangers in 1 hour. So they developed a set of 36 questions, which if you download this PDF, you'll be able to find the questions. So here's set 1, you've got set 2 and set 3. And the questions start off relatively easy. Question 1, given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest? So at my event, Offline Valentine, it's actually a 3-hour event. And it's designed specifically for professionals who are looking for love. So the types of people that go to this event include people who aren't in a relationship, in between the ages of 28, 29 to about 58, 59. They're down to earth, they're open-minded, they tend to refer to themselves as being younger or looking younger than their age. They tend to keep physically active, they love the outdoors, they have an interest in health or personal development. They generally aren't too busy to make time for something that is actually a really great experience, and that's the Offline Valentine event. So whether or not you can make it to the Offline Valentine event, which takes place in capital cities around Australia. So traditionally, this event has only taken place in Melbourne, Victoria. But as of 2021, I started to do these events in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and Perth, and hopefully sometime down the track I'll be offering these events in Darwin, Hobart, Adelaide, and I feel like I've missed a capital city, Canberra, and I think that's all. So the 36 questions. We use them at the event for 1 hour of the three-hour event. Now, Offline Valentine is all based around connection. So it's really great for people who are sick of swiping and typing and wasting time filtering through all of the people that they find on dating apps or at speed dating events. So these services are great for meeting people. So you get to see people's profiles, or you get to have quick mini interviews with people in the speed dating scenarios, but you don't really have the time to build a connection. So at this Offline Valentine event, I'm quite nerdy, so I get people to tell me how connected they feel with their match before and after the 1 hour where they sit down with someone who I've chosen for them to do this 36 questions experiment with. So here's some results from previous events. So this one was done in Melbourne, and these results are from a female who said at the beginning of the experiment, when she sat down with her partner, she had a connection level of 2. Then afterwards, she had a connection level of 5. But she didn't feel like, her partner was someone that she would like to go on a date with, which is fine. Here's another example. We have a female who went from a level 2 to a level 9 simply by using these 36 questions. Just a couple more examples. We've got a male who went from a 5 to an 8, and yes, he would consider going on a date with the person he was partnered with. Another female went from a 2 to a 3 to about a 7 to 8, and yes, she'd also consider catching up with the person that I had matched her with. So for most people who come along to the Offline Valentine event, they get to enjoy all of the inclusions of the event. So when people arrive, if they're a male, they receive a lanyard with a padlock around their neck, and they can use that as an excuse to go and talk to all of the females at the event. So the ladies will have a lanyard with a key on it. And so that's their excuse to go and talk to all of the fellas at the event. So this is a fun icebreaker which encourages everyone at the event to mix and mingle and not just stay talking to the same person. So the trick is multiple keys will unlock multiple padlocks, but also there are a few keys which will unlock no padlocks and a few padlocks which won't have any keys to unlock them. So the whole game is actually not so much to find someone who can open the lock, but to actually move around the group of singles who are there and to have multiple interactions with people. So it's kind of like the warm-up phase. So people get to do that for the first hour of the event, as well as enjoying complimentary beverages and canapes. So after the first hour, where people have enjoyed warming up at the event, they find their partner and they grab the 36 questions and they sit down to participate in a social experiment. So I've set up the social experiment very similar to the original experiment, which was conducted in the 1990s, as I said. And I've actually referenced the original study on the PDF, which you can download via the link above or below this video. The study was done by Arthur Aaron and his colleagues, and we pretty much do the same thing as what they did in the study back in the 90s. So there's 3 sets of questions. For 20 minutes, everyone goes through the first set of questions with their match. Now, the goal of the experiment is not to complete all of the questions. It's merely to use them as a guide to enjoy a conversation. Now, these questions, as I said, they're designed to create connection, but they're actually a really good tool and a great way to practice having conversations with people. So they allow you to practice asking open-ended questions, and the best communication skill that you can have is learning how to actively listen. So paying attention to what the other person is saying and then responding. So that is actually a skill that I have to work on myself. So set 1, people take about 20 minutes to go through as many questions as they manage to get through. They don't have to do all of the questions. It's actually better to answer the questions thoughtfully and thoroughly so that you start to develop the rapport with your partner during the experiment. After the bell rings, so 20 minutes for set 1, then the little bell rings and I encourage people to move on to set 2. Now these questions start to get a little bit deeper. So for example, we'll go to number 16. What do you value most in a friendship? So the way the experiment works is that whoever asks the question answers that question first, and then their partner answers it, and then they move on to the next question. So it's effectively a sharing game. So again, 20 minutes for set 2, and then I ring a little bell, and then the people move on to set 3. And these questions by this stage are getting a lot more deeper. So the way that connection works is that people who allow themselves to be vulnerable and they share their thoughts, ideas, feelings, beliefs, they start to allow that connection to develop between them and the person that they're talking to. So these questions are actually requiring people to become quite vulnerable. So question 29, for example, is share with your match or your partner an embarrassing moment in your life. By the end of the full hour, people have done a few of the questions from set 1, a few of the questions from set 2, and a few of the questions from set 3. Then the most awkward part of the whole event happens, which is when everyone sits in silence for 1 minute to do eye gazing. Now, eye gazing can help to consolidate the connection, but also can help to generate chemistry. So these questions, whether or not you do it at the Offline Valentine event, are a really great tool for connecting with people. So you can do them with friends, family, colleagues, maybe someone that you're already in a relationship with, or perhaps you can do them with someone that you're going on a date with. So I highly recommend downloading the 36 questions. At the Offline Valentine event, people get to enjoy playing that sharing game for 1 hour of the 3-hour event. So the first hour is warm-up, second hour is participating in the experiment to see if 2 people who probably haven't met before can create a connection in 1 hour. And again, they tell me how connected they feel before and after. Then, the last hour of the event is generally when people feel a lot more confident and connected and excited about talking to the other people in the room. And quite a lot of people will fill out their contact details on cards like this. Hopefully that is not too out of focus. There's contact cards provided that people can write their name and number and hand that out to people. So everyone who comes to this event are showing up because they want to connect with like-minded people. So when people make connections, they can hand out their business card, or they can fill out a contact card with their name and number and give that out to people, which is quite a different method of staying in contact compared to speed dating events. So usually at speed dating events, people aren't allowed to hand out their contact details to each other. However, Offline Valentine is an event that encourages you to give your contact details to the people that you meet. Because I want you to have fun, which is why we play games. We play the lock and key game. We play the 36 questions sharing game. It's also about connections. When people arrive at the Offline Valentine event, everyone receives a little bit of information about the person that they've been paired with for the experiment for doing the 36 questions. And they also receive a list of a few names of people that gives them direction for people to go and talk to, with some fun facts about each of those people to help them kickstart interesting conversation. Because there's nothing worse than going to a social event or a networking event and people just asking you the same boring autopilot questions over and over again, such as, what's your job? Where are you from? How are you today? Boring. So I help people to engage, develop rapport, and create connections at this event. And that's why a lot of people end up handing out their contact details to the people that they meet. If people at the event feel that it's not the best timing to hand out their contact details to the person that they connected with because that person is now engaged in a conversation with someone else, then there's plenty of co-hosts which help me on the night, and usually they're dating coaches, relationship coaches, life coaches. Sometimes they're just super friendly, bubbly people that can help to mingle the crowd. So we can assist to hand out the contact details that you have put onto these contact cards, and we can go up to the person and say, oh, sorry to interrupt. I've just got someone who wanted to share their contact details with you. Pop that in your pocket and give them a call in the next couple of days if you would like to do so. The way that works is generally if you have managed to create good rapport with a person and they know your name, generally they will contact you after the event. So developing rapport is so important for ensuring people contact you after you give them your contact details after the event. What else is included in the event? Well, as I mentioned earlier, every ticket to Offline Valentine includes a match. So every person that attends the Offline Valentine event fills out quite a lengthy registration form telling me all about who they are, what their interests are, their values, their life goals. It takes about 15 or 20 minutes for them to fill that out, and I have a look through that form before I have a Zoom video call with each person that attends the event. So I know people quite well before they arrive at the main event, which happens on a Thursday night. A lot of the people attending this event, well, majority of people attending the Offline Valentine event, book a general admission ticket. And so that means that they get to enjoy the 3-hour event and they're paired with someone who's a basic match. So they're paired with someone of kind of like a similar age, of their preferred gender. So if it's a single female, they generally prefer to be paired with a single male. And I try to make sure that the people that I pair are a relatively good match, and that's generally based on my intuition. Then there are some people for the Offline Valentine event who book a ticket which is a Match Me ticket. Now the Match Me tickets are a premium ticket where I effectively try to tick as many boxes as possible for my premium client. And they also become a priority for the matching. So for example, if you were to book a Match Me ticket, it costs a lot more than the general admission ticket. And that's because I actually go and find people of your preferred age and gender, and I invite them to the Offline Valentine event. And then I gather the information about them. So I get them to fill out the matching registration form. So lots of data about their height, body shape, ethnicity, religion, education, income, their behaviors, such as whether they tend to arrive early or late, whether they're neat or tidy, whether they're someone who likes to spend their money or they're more of a saver. So lots of behavioral information, but also I find out what their values are, their interests are, what they're looking for in a partner, what their non-negotiables are. And then if people attending the event are a good match for my premium client, then I'll pair them up to do the 36 questions. So they meet their personalized match on the night, and as well as seeing if they can create a connection during the 1 hour social experiment, they're also actually matched with someone who's highly compatible. So it's highly likely that if they do feel chemistry, that they would actually enjoy going on dates after the Offline Valentine event. So I'm really trying to make it as easy as possible for people to mix and mingle with compatible people, with like-minded people who are open-minded to enjoy the experience. And everyone recognizes that there's multiple levels of success which can be achieved through the Offline Valentine event. So it's not just about going to an event where everyone's single and perhaps finding like the love of your life. It's about stepping out of your comfort zone. It's about practicing how to create connection. The 36 questions, as I said, a great tool for developing closeness with people, a great way to practice asking open-ended questions, practice active listening, practice asking curious questions. And these are all elements of creating rapport, and they're great skills to have if you're single and if you're dating and you're trying to show people your value and get to know people in the short amount of time that you may have with them in speed dating or on dates that you might manage to set up yourself. So hopefully I haven't spoken too much. I know this is a pretty long video, and good on you if you've managed to listen all the way to the end. Effectively, I wanted to share with you the value of the Offline Valentine event. So I'm just going to read what's actually included and make sure that I've covered all of the information here. So I'm just logging back into my computer. All right, so what does the Offline Valentine event ticket include? Now, this is the general admission ticket. As I explained, if you pay for the more expensive ticket, which is the Match Me ticket, then it's a lot more of a personalized, more personalized and highly specific match that you would get, but otherwise everything else is included. So everyone who books a ticket gets a partner to do the 1 hour 36 questions sharing game with. Everyone has their matching registration analyzed. Now, even the process of going through and thinking about what is it that I'm actually looking for in a partner is quite a good reflective process. So if you're kind of unsure and you're just sort of out there just meeting single people and you don't have any direction for the type of person who would be a good match for you, then simply going through the matching registration form is actually a really good reflective process. So you can start to hone in on what's actually important to you. What is it that you do find attracts you to other people, or what is it that you find helps you to maintain a healthy relationship with others? So we've got the matching registration analysis, plus everyone has a Zoom chat with me, and during that Zoom chat we talk about ways that you can have multiple successes at the Offline Valentine event, and a lot of that depends on people's mindset going into the event, but also their level of preparation. I highly recommend that people going to the Offline Valentine event read through the 36 questions and contemplate their answers. Because when people have attended this event in the past and they've just sort of decided to wing it, they generally don't perform as well. And usually the person that they're partnered with says that they didn't really enjoy the event because the person that they were partnered with, who clearly didn't practice the 36 questions before attending the event, didn't really give interesting responses, they weren't giving much detail, they weren't giving thoughtful and thorough answers. And so consequently the level of connection wasn't as good as what it could have been. So, recommendation, read the 36 questions before attending the Offline Valentine event. What else is included? So yes, the consultation with me, your matchmaker. Now I work with I collaborate with a lot of life coaches, dating coaches, relationship coaches, a lot of people in the personal development arena. And I always reach out to them to see if they could make a 2-3 minute video which can offer some value to the Offline Valentine community, but also specifically the people who are attending the Offline Valentine event. So for those who book a ticket, or even for those who download the 36 questions, you're going to get access to a lot of these coaching videos which help you to develop the best mindset and to build your skills and have the best chances of success with not only the Offline Valentine event but dating and life in general. So yes, you'll get access to coaching videos to increase your chances of success. Now the Offline Valentine event, it's a completely gender balanced event, Offline Valentine. At this stage, maybe in the future I might be able to do like a rainbow Offline Valentine, which will be suited for people who are gay, lesbian, bi, all the LGBTQI, I'm not sure all of the letters. But at the moment, Offline Valentine in 2021 and in previous years has ideally suited straight and monogamous singles. Every event is actually a 3-hour event on the Thursday night, but there are also additional events included in the ticket, which I'll come to in a moment. They happen on the Monday and the Friday night, so it's an overall experience. As I said, it starts with booking a ticket, then going through the matching registration form, which is quite a reflective process. On the Monday night of the same week as the Offline Valentine event, which takes place on Thursday, the ladies can jump into a Zoom session with me, and I actually introduce them to the other ladies attending the Offline Valentine event. And that's a chance for them to meet some people, make some new friends, to find themselves a wing woman. And then on the Thursday night, when they attend the event, they already recognize some familiar faces, and it makes it much easier for them to arrive at the event where they probably otherwise wouldn't know anyone else. It just makes it a little less daunting and easier for them to start mingling with the people at the Offline Valentine event. And then on the Friday night, there's a special bonus session, which once you've booked your ticket, I can tell you more about that. So tickets include a couple of complimentary beverages. A lot of people attending the event don't necessarily choose to drink 2 alcoholic drinks, so it's completely up to you whether you want to have 2 alcoholic drinks or non-alcoholic beverages or one of each. Nibbles, canapes, some finger food is provided. I do recommend that people eat a dinner beforehand because finger food isn't a meal. However, having said that, the last few events I had leftover food, which I hate food to go to waste. So if you do love the finger food, please eat it up. I would prefer not to have food left over at the end of the Offline Valentine event. As I said, we've got the fun and engaging icebreaker, which is where the gentlemen have a lock around their neck on a lanyard. That's their excuse to go and talk to the ladies. And the ladies have a key on a lanyard around their neck, and that's their excuse to go and talk to the fellas. So it's a lot of fun, and it's a task that people can get straight into, and they can just go up to people and introduce themselves, say, "Oh, hi, I haven't met you yet. Let's see if our lock and key are a match. Oh, we're not a match. Never mind. So how's your week been? Have you done an event like this before? What did you think of the 36 questions when you read through them? Which question are you worried about answering the most?" And you can just get stuck into asking some curious questions and starting to develop rapport with the people that you meet as you play the lock and key game. What else is included? Obviously, the 36 questions. So even if you don't come to the event, download the 36 questions. If you do come to the event, you get to participate in the social experiment and have a go at doing the 36 questions with someone new to see if you can create connection in 1 hour. What else? Yes, I will be one of the hosts at the event. And as I said earlier, there'll also be some co-hosts, generally dating coaches or relationship coaches, or just general happy people that love connecting people. So we're all there to assist people to mingle. We ensure that everyone's included in the event, and we can also help to hand out your contact details. And please feel free to go and have a chat to the dating coaches if you've got any burning questions. As I said, they're also including some tips and tricks in the coaching videos, which you can access through the emails. Now, I do actually make an effort to personally go and have a look at the venues that I choose for the Offline Valentine event. And I want to make sure that the venues I choose allow you to have a relaxed chat with people. So we tend not to have the music up too loud, so that way you're not straining to hear each other, which tends to happen in like nightclubs and pubs. I also make sure there's lots of seating for everyone so that you don't have to sit like across a table or, you know, side by side. You can move your chairs around. It's very relaxed. You can sit wherever you want to in our function space for the event so that you have enough space for a private conversations. It's generally a suitable venue that I've chosen for relaxed dialogue. Another inclusion is these contact cards and pens and pencils so that you can hand out your contact details. So that's a whole lot of stuff that's included in the Offline Valentine experience. As I said, it generally starts with you downloading the 36 questions, then booking a ticket or booking a chat to ask me any further questions that you might have. I've got an appointment coming up. I love this event. Like, I've been hosting Offline Valentine since 2019. And it all began because I'd been hosting singles events for a number of years. And I love feedback. Like, I find feedback is so powerful in helping me to always improve my service. So I'm a bit of a high achiever, and I like to offer the best service possible. So when I get feedback from people, I try to implement that if it's appropriate. And so from about 2015 to 2018 or 2019, I collected a lot of feedback from people, and some people said, oh, you know, the event was great, because I generally do dinners or, you know, bowling nights and these kind of like smaller group low-key activities for singles to meet each other. And so some people would say, oh, you know, it would be better if I had more time to talk with people, or it would be better if we had like food and drink supplied at the event, or it could be better if there was actually more people at the event. It would be better if, you know, there was some kind of like icebreaker like you did last time. I really enjoyed that. So I collected all of the information, all of the feedback from people, and that's how I ended up creating the ultimate event, which is Offline Valentine. As I said, like, these 36 questions just are like the highlight of the event. For those of you who may not like the idea of sitting with one person for 1 hour to go through the 36 questions, there's also probably something to learn there in that sort of that feeling. Maybe like what comes to mind for me is perhaps being able to practice, you know, mindfulness, to be able to sit for 1 hour with someone who you may or may not actually connect with. So even if you don't like the person that you're matched with, you can still get a whole lot out of this event, because it's a 3-hour event. You've got 2 hours to mix and mingle with everyone at the event. I curate the event. So if you're a certain age, let's say you're 35, I tend to set names on tables so that people can go to the area where their name is on the table, and the people in that general area will be of a similar age. So it makes it easier for you to find people at a similar, you know, life stage as you, if that's important. So I think I've really done a lot of talking now about Offline Valentine, but I wanted to put all the information out there so that you can make an educated decision about A, downloading the 36 questions, which I highly recommend, but B, also considering attending the Offline Valentine event. I'm available. If you've got any questions, you can email me, sarah@offlinevalentine.com. You can call or SMS me 0414030774. Please visit my website www.offlinevalentine.com. I mean, it's a great event. I get great reviews from this event. The most recent Melbourne event, I had everyone submit feedback afterwards, and 95% of people who attended the event said that they would recommend it to their friends or colleagues. So if that's not proof enough or evidence enough that it's a great event for you to try, then I don't know how else I'm going to convince you to give it a go. You only live once. So keep that in mind and enjoy going through the 36 questions if that's the least that you do. All right, catch you soon. Cheers.